welcome to this week's edition of the Dakota Angler 2-Minute Fishing Report. Well, to say the least, there hasn't been a lot of people out on the area lakes or river the past week. Even though that we're really enjoying some nice October weather, a lot of people have put their boats away, or a lot of people are out there enjoying a lot of pheasants, and that's the big story. There's been a lot of pheasants around eastern South Dakota, so if you're looking to do a little pheasant hunting, keep that in mind. As far as the fishing report is concerned, the lakes that produced walleyes this past week up in the northeast, again, the reports are limited due to the number of people going out, but While Bay is probably the main lake that a lot of people were going to, mainly because you can get walleye and perch there. Other lakes that produce walleye included Goose, Indian Springs, Bitter, Big Stone, as well as Dry Lake by Clark. And then down the southeastern part of the state, those lakes include the same typical lakes: Dry by Willow Lake, Ponset, Thompson, Henry, Sinai, 81 ponds, a few being caught at Vermilion, Madison, and Brant. And a lot of those are being caught from shore as well because, number one, it's been, due to the low water levels, it's really tough to launch a boat in a lot of those smaller lakes. So you don't want to damage your boat, damage your prop, to say the least. So a lot of people are having luck from shore, and also especially during the late afternoon, evening hours, waiting out in waders. What guys have been doing besides waiting out, and they're throwing large swim baits. That's been really the main trick. A lot of jigs and minnows, and then also some guys are snap jigging out there and having quite a bit of success. Now the perch bite, again, it seems like the perch fishermen have really dropped off this past week, to say the least, but a few perch are still being caught, and the main lakes are up in the northeastern part of the state. Waubay and Big Stone are the two main ones. Obviously at Big Stone you got to sort quite a bit. Other lakes include Indian Springs, Pius, Dry Lake by Willow, by also Ponset, Thompson, and then also Sinai. Now what people have been doing is mainly using bobbers and jigs. It seems like they haven't kind of been spooked off by jigging. So a jig underneath the bobber with a minnow has worked very well this past week. In this week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to continue talking about the Ice Institute because, honestly, folks, if you can believe it, it's only a little more than a week away from the second largest ice fishing show in the nation, and it's right here in Sioux Falls at the Sioux Falls Arena Convention Center, November 11th through the 13th. $7 to get in the door, $15 for a weekend pass, and on Veterans Day, on that Friday, we'll give you $2 off for all veterans with the proper identification. So that will knock it down to $5. So again, if you're a veteran, happy Veterans Day on the 11th. We'll give you a couple dollars off with the proper ID, identifying you as a veteran. The other things to keep in mind is also we will only be taking cash at the admission table, just because of the fact that it's very hard to have a credit card machine right there. So again, be prepared to have cash to get into the show. Once you're on the show floor, credit cards, cash, we take whatever you want to give us. We'll be more than happy to do that. Also, want to talk about the speakers that are going to be in the Institute this year, our list of professors, as we call them. I'm going to read this off because, honestly, my mind is mush right now, and it's hard to keep track of what days are what. But on Friday night, kicking off the Ice Institute, it's going to be Craig Euler. He's going to have a panel of professional ice fishermen or pro staffers. They're going to be talking about pan fishing. 7 o'clock is going to be Brad Hawthorne and Alicia J. They're going to be talking about striker ice clothing and the importance of having clothing that will keep you afloat in case you fall through. On Saturday, kicking it off Saturday morning, Matt Johnson, the manager of the ice team. 1 p.m., Brad Hawthorne will be talking about using spoons. 3 p.m., Brian Brosdahl will once again be back with us. And 5 p.m., we'll have another pro panel talking about whatever you want to talk to, basically Q&A to get your answers to your questions. And then on Sunday, the last day of the show, it'll be 11 o'clock. Jason Durham will be kicking it off. Jason is a great speaker, a great friend of the Institute. He's a kindergarten teacher, so he speaks right down to my level, to say the least. And then to close things off, new to the show, speaking this year, is Scott Merwin. Scott is going to be representing Clam and a number of other companies that are talking about using modern-day electronics. So, again, keep that in mind because, honestly, folks, this is a very exciting show, a great list of speakers, and thanks to all of those that have volunteered their time to come speak to all of you. So, again, $7 to get in the door, to listen to all the speakers and take advantage of all the great specials that you have come accustomed to seeing at the Institute, and we're having more vendors than ever before. It is the biggest and best Ice Institute on record. Don't miss it, November 11th through the 13th at the Sioux Falls Arena and Convention Center. Now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to todd@dakotaangler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And as always, folks, if you have any questions about what you heard on this week's report or in previous weeks, feel free to give us a call. Our phone number is 605-336-9132. And also, if you do give us a call, you'll get also an updated fishing report at the same time. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week. And again, folks, mark your calendars, November 11th through the 13th, the Ice Institute here in Sioux Falls. See you there.